Again with another segment in our Reminiscing with History Makers in Apco. We're here with Richard Granado from the CPRA chapter, and welcome, Richard. When did you join Apco?
Oh, gee. I want to say I haven't been able to find my original membership card, but it was probably either the early or late 70s or early 80s. In fact, my first international was, I believe, in the 80s when we had it down in San Diego at the Town and Country.
Have you been at the CPRA chapter the whole time?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you work and what position did you hold?
I worked at the County of Los Angeles Telecommunications in the ISD department, and I was the manager in charge. Originally it was called division chief, but they changed it to managers, division manager. And I had the responsibility for the radio systems and data NDT systems for both fire, sheriff, and the general government agencies.
Okay. What course drew you to joining Apco?
I joined Apco because I thought it was important to, being a big agency, and there's a lot of small agencies, to help and share, and not only to share the knowledge that we had and the abilities that we had, but also to be involved in the spectrum issues. That, you know, it's very important to acquire spectrum, to hold on to spectrum, the licensing, and that's one thing that Apco was very strong, at least in our chapter, CPRA. We had a lot of technical folks, and there's a lot of knowledge that could be shared.
Can you describe what your activities were within your local chapter of Apco?
Yes, I've been on a number of committees. I was a president. I went through all the chairs and served as a president. And once again, I'm president-elect because we had to come in to help a member who could not finish the terms. So I'll be president next year. I've been on the Spectrum Committee. I've been involved in a number of conferences over the years. And I was also on the emergency amateur radio. So I've been involved in a lot of the chapter as well as the international.
Well, and what were your activities within the international?
Again, I was involved in the Spectrum Committee. I was also executive counsel, and also in the Finance and Budget and Finance Committee, and also the amateur radio portion of the committee, and I don't think that's what they call it. But, and then eventually when it was called to be involved in the SGI, and after that, when the executive council members for the region selected a director, I ended up being one of the first directors and served a 3-year term as a director for the Western region.
Do you think that Apco has had a direct effect on your career?
Well, I don't think it had a very direct effect. You know, it wouldn't have, if I wouldn't have been part of Apco, I don't think, I think I still would have been where I was at when I left. But it had an important ability for getting information that I needed, or involving the technical parts as far as radio frequencies and so forth that I needed.
What do you think that Apco does better than anybody else?
Oh, that's an interesting question. What do they do better? Well, I think that we have a chance at different. Let me think for a second with that one. I see. Since I'm part of the technical world, it's a little different than the operational for dispatch and for operating managers of dispatch centers. As far as what I think we do best, and that has to do with the technical portion, other than other agencies that are out there or other memberships that are out there, we do best as far as technical services, as far as licensing and dealing with the spectrum. That's what I think. And as far as as a membership, probably it depends a lot on the chapters, and I can only speak for my chapter. Since we meet every month, we have a very close-knit and we have a very harmonious group, and we pass information among all of us constantly.
What is it about Apco that you like the most?
I think meeting the other chapter members and the swapping stories or issues that we can relate to, I think I like the most. That's the interesting part. And of course, I like the conferences because there's we have a tremendous vendors that are involved, and our shows are just unbelievable when it comes to the exhibits and what they are able to bring to the conferences that we can get information from and see the latest products. As far as the training tracks, they have been in the past some of the best, you know, and I think that we could probably even grow more in that area, some of those training tracks.
What do you think that Apco should do to keep moving forward?
Well, I think they're doing a very good job as far as the interfaces with the operational dispatchers and the communications centers. However, I think in our technical side, it's starting to really drop off. And I think we need to pay attention and not let that totally just get away from us.
So in all these years, what's your favorite Apco memory?
Well, that's a hard one. There's been so many good ones. So many great conferences that we've had over the years that I don't think I can nail one. I really couldn't. I think they've all, for the most part, been very good.
Fond memories in Apco.
Fond memory, very good fond memories.
Oh, good.
There's been some wonderful people in the organization. There've been some wonderful people in headquarters that have just been fantastic over the years.
Well, thank you.